Hi, my name is Kathy Henry, and I am a licensed clinical social worker in the Indianapolis area. And today I would like to talk about shame. Shame is not what most people think about in terms of ashamed. Ashamed is feeling bad about something that you've done and kind of hanging your head low and so forth about a specific behavior that you've done. And that's certainly understandable, and that's kind of a normal self-corrective way of regulating our behavior so that we are trying to be better people. Shame, on the other hand, is a series of voices and feelings inside of us that we are battling our whole lives. It starts early on in life where we get a message that says, whether it's a direct message to us or a message that we infer from within us based on the events that are going on around us, but the shame voices tell us that we are no good, that not my behavior is bad, but I am bad. And the reason that this is so important is because if we have shame, but we don't understand what it is and how insidious it can cause depression, anxiety, just a lot of angst that you carry around with you your whole life. I described it to a client today as kind of like when your phone turns off and you think it looks like it's asleep and it's not using any battery, but then later in the day you realize, wow, my battery is drained. It's because you have 15 different apps open and all those programs are running in the background even when the phone looks like it's off. And that's the way shame voices work, is even though you are operating throughout your day or even asleep, you are still processing all of those shame worries and anxieties and battles against yourself that are trying to tell you that you're not good enough. And sometimes you're ahead of it, and sometimes it's ahead of you. So you can go around with shame, that crippling, toxic shame that you've been carrying your whole life, and not even realize it until you reach a point in your life when you sort of break down and it's become too much, and now you're just exhausted from battling all the time, all of your life. And so how do we go about dealing with that? My first answer to that is you've got to understand what it is. You have to understand that it's present. You've got to start recognizing those voices. They are kind of like white noise in the background. You don't realize it's happening. So you've got to bring those into your conscious awareness and be able to hear those voices that are saying, you're a failure, you're worthless, this is your fault, you don't deserve this. And on and on and on. I could go on for an hour about how awful the voices are and what those messages are that they're telling us. And of course, everyone's voices are different and unique to them, but nevertheless, they're all messages like that tell you you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you don't deserve, you're not acceptable, or not wanted. And so first and foremost, you have to understand what it is and be able to recognize it. Number two, you kind of have to get mad. You have to go to bat for the little kid inside of you who didn't deserve to have to feel those things. And as you get older, more voices accumulate, more events happen in your life. And so when something comes up, those shame voices will start reciting all of the evidence about how you're not good enough. And it will not let you believe any of the good voices that say, yes, but I also am a good person, or I've been a good mother, or I'm still loved, or but I've kept a job for 30 years or whatever. Those voices won't allow you to believe that because they want to keep just recycling all of those old pieces of evidence that tell you you're not good enough and try to prove to you that you're not good enough. So you've got to get mad and you've got to go to war with those voices. And you've got to win, ultimately. Now, the third thing is you've got to have realistic expectations, because this is not going to happen overnight because you read a book or watched a video or because you recognized the voices and confronted them one time. I mean, this is a battle you're going to have to fight for a long time, maybe the rest of your life. It doesn't always have to be this intense of a battle, but once you become aware of them and you start fighting those voices, you're going to go to war with them for a while. And so you've got to understand that that's part of the program, that's part of the process, is realistic expectations, I suppose. And then the last thing is learn how to be good to yourself, because you may have come to a place where you realize I'm good enough, I deserve this, and so forth. But receiving it is a whole different ballgame. So you have to learn how to be kind to yourself. One of the ways you can do that is to look at yourself like the little child that you were at one point in time, because that's where this all started. And if you can learn how to be good to that child, treat them in a healthy way in terms of allow yourself to sleep in on a Sunday morning instead of having to get up and go at it, working hard and doing all the things you have to do all the time. Or be kind to yourself in your brain in terms of saying, you know, yes, I laid around today, but I worked really hard this week, and so I'm going to take it easy on myself. I'm allowed to rest, so to speak. And so that's a really important component of this as well. If you have not seen the movie Rocket Man, there is a great depiction in there about this relationship with yourself as and your younger version of yourself, your child, the inner child. And so I absolutely loved the movie. It's a recovery movie, and it goes through this process, not necessarily the shame itself, but it goes through the relationship with the little child inside of yourself. And so I really encourage you, if any of this resonates with you, to reach out to us, because we have trained counselors that can help you understand what this is and finally help you to free yourself of those voices that tell you you're not good enough. So if you need any help, my information is below, and I'll be happy to guide you in that process. Thank you for listening, and I wish you the best in your journey against shame.